here comes the helicopter. I'm gonna protect you. Bill, you're way too rich to die. Get on that hook, Gates. Don't go.
What's up, everybody? James Duggan here with Tom Marks to talk about a game called SOS from a studio called Outpost. So tell me, what is the elevator pitch for SOS?
So the elevator pitch is that it's a 16-player kind of battle royale style game where you all jump onto an island. Not actually jump, you just start on a beach, and you have to find one of 3 relics that are hidden on the island, and then get to a helicopter which only has 3 seats, one for each of those people with a relic. So it's kind of a standard battle royale in ostensibly, but the whole pitch of it is that it's a reality show, kind of like Survivor, and all of the players are actually performers, and how you personally are performing and presenting yourself has a big effect on how you do in the game and your popularity within the game, and it's focused very, very heavily on a streaming sort of audience.
All right, elaborate on that, because when you said reality show, I immediately thought of The Culling, which is a pretty fun predecessor to PUBG that was kind of a battle royale-esque, but it was thematically a reality show. It didn't really affect gameplay. It was just there so that you could fight other people, but this very much performing.
Yes, this isn't just like the theme is it's a reality show. That's part of it, but it's also Outpost made this system called Hero outside of SOS. They've developed it for it and also to be used in other games that they make, or other games maybe other developers can use it.
To be clear, that's a streaming platform.
It's a streaming platform and a service within their game. So what it lets them do is people who are watching on Hero.tv can either watch their specific viewers and they can react, or they can vote on what an airdrop will be in a game. You as a player have a little Hero overlay at the bottom of your screen while you're playing that tells you at all times how many people are watching you and what they are reacting to you with.
Okay, so first question, and I think this is an important one. Can I affect my favorite streamer from Twitch, or do I have to go to Hero.tv to interact with them in-game?
Yeah, so Outpost made it very clear to us in the demo that they did with us that they're not trying to beat Twitch, but at the same time, all the specifically interactive stuff is only through Hero.tv. You can still see those overlays, and you can still see how kind of people have interacted it from Hero while watching on Twitch, because it's all built into the game. But yeah, you have to be watching on Hero to actually affect the game.
That's pretty interesting to me, because on the one hand, I think you're trying to appeal to Twitch streamers, for the people who are promoting this game and kind of being the figureheads of getting this message out there that this game exists, as well as I think getting the best experience out of it, because it sounds like you need a viewer base to have fun in this game, or kind of utilize all it has to offer in terms of its feature set. And then on the other hand, you are directing people away from Twitch to be able to interact with their favorite streamers. So
it's a little odd.
Yeah, okay, but there is an interesting system called Fame that I actually quite like, and I think it's interesting for spectator purposes, and tell us what that is.
So one of the things that they were telling us about is that your matchmaking isn't just based on how good you are, how well you play, it's also based on your fame. And fame is something determined by how often you win, but also how many people watch you consistently, how many people react to you. So there's an incentive built into the game to play in an entertaining way, not just win. One of the creative director of the game gave me an example of the winner of Survivor isn't always the person who wins. It's sometimes the person that's the fan favorite that comes back season after season for the all-star things. So they want you to be able to succeed in SOS without actually winning a match, and that's
just having viewership.
Yeah, and then your fame actually determines who you get matched with sometimes. So
So that part I really like.
Right.
Because Dr. Disrespect and Summit, who are famous for going back and forth on kills, and it's always entertaining, could theoretically have an easier time finding one another.
They could, and the game would maybe match them up, and then at the beginning of a match it would say on last episode, Summit killed Dr. Disrespect, and then they would have a chance to literally, with their mics and their characters standing in front of each other, start bad-mouthing each other with everyone watching.
Interesting.
Hello. Good to see you. Nice to see you. Mosquito, sorry.
Bloodsuckers, huh?
And then it would, actually go into the game. The mic part, though, is a really weird part to me. It's maybe one of the parts that is most conflicted, because Outpost was very serious about you need a mic to play this game, the mic needs to be part of it, you need to perform, you need to talk to people. You can make teams, but you can only make a team in match where you actually have to talk to the other player.
Interesting.
So But the idea of a PvP game in this day and age where like you don't want to mute the public mics and you need a mic on at all times is like really unsettling to me, because I'm just used to like PUBG lobbies where everyone is screaming obscenities at you and you're like auto mute as quickly as possible, and this game is like don't auto mute, and that sounds really dangerous to me.
Well, especially if you're streaming. I think any streamer out there can attest that they have like standards and practices that they want to try and maintain for their audience, even the most extreme ones. Like there are things that people are going to say that they are not going to want their audience to hear, so that's interesting. I think this game is getting caught in this weird gray area where it's trying to appeal to Twitch streamers and simultaneously adding features that are going to detract from that experience.
Yeah.
But tell me what you think of the base game. Like, is it a fun game to play in and of itself?
I think it has potential right now. I played a closed alpha version, so it is very, very early on what I played. I liked it. I thought it was a pretty game. I thought it has a nugget of interesting there, but it felt a little thin right now. I think a lot of the emphasis is being placed on these social interactions and streamers being, you know, these characters. Like I was playing with people who, like, one person was pretending to be an AI robot the entire time they were playing with me.
Welcome to the Octagon. I'm gonna rip your faces off.
Are you?
Oh, God, he's got a gun.
Hello.
Hello.
So you have two options then, love. You can work with us or you can work against us. In which case you will die.
I'm mute.
Well then, you there.
I choose the death.
But that, to be clear, is completely up to the discretion of the streamer and its
100%.
audience. Like, I could just be watching somebody play as themselves, not in character, which
Yes.
is what the game wants to kind of incentivize with this whole improv prompt kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my audience could still be giving me rewards for just being me because they want me to win, right?
You could, but the whole game incentivizes being entertaining and being big, and so I think people are gonna not really feel comfortable playing just as themselves, which is disappointing because that's how I want to play games.
Who are you?
Whoa. Don't make me do it, tramp stamp. I will end you, sir. I don't want to do it. I'll do it, tramp stamp.
What is happening? Are you threatening tramp stamp?
I'm threatening tramp stamp. He
you
looked at me
threaten Tramp Stamp.
threateningly, and I retaliated with a verbal threat.
Sure. So definitely an interesting idea. And there was a quote that you got about creating a game for a specific audience that I think is totally worth sharing if you can remember it.
Yeah, so the CEO of Outpost actually told us that he said we have to stop thinking of gamers as consumers and start thinking of gamers as performers, which is something I kind of like fundamentally disagree with. I think that there's an argument to be made that, you know, Twitch and YouTube and all these things are creating more performers out of gamers, but
Which is great.
Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily think that means that every gamer now wants to be some sort of character or entertain for an audience. I think that's really a fundamental misunderstanding at the core of this game, and it's what makes me more interested in watching it than playing it, because I don't really want to be a performer. I just want to watch people who do.
And I do know a lot of people who I play games with who are streaming for a Twitch audience of 3 to 4 people, and this could be a cool way for them to kind of like experiment with being a bigger character.
Yeah.
Figuring out what it takes to be a more interesting presenter. So that, I think, is interesting. And I do think it is a little bit literate in the sense that, like, hey, we're living in this age of streamers, and this is a thing, but the way it goes about it, I'm very curious to see if it works out. Anyway, Tom Marks, thank you so much for giving us a look at SOS. You can learn more about that game as well as a bunch of other shooters right here on IGN.